So that's what the number seven's about. It's about you as a consciousness severing into this simulation. So this is the natural expression of all of us in that way. As far as we're all connected because it's the only way we can create the circumstance where we can appreciate how separate we are. I, as a spirit, am so unique and individual from you. Like, you have no idea what's going on in my space, in my imagination. And the only way you could possibly start to see that is because I literally feel like connecting it with you. And because both of our feelings are in resonance, because you're listening to me speak, and because I feel like speaking, we are now building a structure right now. So my feeling, my water, is being channeled through a voice. Your feeling, your water, is reflecting upon my voice. And that in and of itself is building an esoteric body right now. So you and I are building Earth right now because we are connecting both of our twos. 2 + 2 is 4. So this is just naturally like how alchemy numbers plays out in infinite realities forever and ever. Like, we're constant, like, we have to do this. So this is why the first law is all is mental, right? It's not about how white supremacists or Billy Carson or whoever is indoctrinated into Judeo-Christian thinking is trying to put it, which is that we're all part of one mind, right? So now I, as Hermes, create a system for my own individuality. But then when I come back into this realm, people are using my own system to teach me I'm not an individual. Like, this is why I'm so passionate about this, because it's twisted. Like, it takes me creating a body back in this realm to go through this, knowing that I have my own memories. So when people are trying to tell me that I don't have memories, so for great example, Christians, the only way they can relate with me, the only way that Judeo-Christian colonizers can relate with me is by projecting onto me that I have not lived before. Because they would have to acknowledge that I'm actually wiser than they are. Right? I'm way wiser than anyone could get in one lifetime. That's what spirits do, you know? So the moment you as a spirit are literally trying to say that I haven't lived more than once, that's just the ultimate hell projection. And I have to, like, make sure I don't connect with you because you're explicitly telling me that you don't feel like you lived more than once. Thus, you don't feel creative. The only reason you would feel like you have not lived more than once is because on a subconscious level, you as a spirit do not feel like you have anything actually worth creating and actually worth sharing from your individual space. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Like, it's straight up. That's the only reason. That's actually the only reason. Otherwise, you are not going to get hit with the gaff. You're not going to get hit with that side eye. You're not going to get hit with any games of someone telling you that you have not actually lived before. Because you, on a subconscious level, this is me as a kid. All right. This is why I was talking to Iracel talking to him consciously since like 6th, 7th grade, but I made up the name, right? Like 4th, 5th grade. This is what made me talk to Iracel. This is how I've been talking to Iracel throughout all of my Christian schooling. So all of my time being forced to worship Jesus and believe that the only way I can connect to God is through Jesus, I was still talking to myself as Iracel. It was just on a scientific level, right? So they had colonized my spirituality, okay? And I was stuck with science. I was like, all right, well, that's their spirit. That's not even their spirit. That's like, okay, here's the religion, but this is what feels good to me. Talking to my subconscious mind, talking to Iracel. And then it took me fasting 24 days in downtown Chicago and getting through many psychedelic trips to then realize that Iracel is literally just my higher self. And thus, my connection with my higher self is through my subconscious mind. So again, it's very important that you fast, because the more you fast, the more you can connect with yourself through your subconscious mind. And now you're actually able to create life. So this is your subconscious, your water, is you bringing your feelings into reality so that then your consciousness, which is your fire, can see them. And then that's why your body and your consciousness, your body is your earth, your consciousness is your fire. And both only matter because of your water, your feeling. So both your body and your consciousness, both your earth and your fire, are actually powered by water. And then this is why it's all mental, because then that's air. So it's all about us using our air, using our ability to communicate, how we combine our fire and water to build and stabilize any structures that we're using to experience ourselves. It's the only reason your hand can move, right? The only reason you move your body is because your mind wants to move your body. So this is it, like you can't, this is it. This is literally it. Again, like this is it. Like I can go Hermes Trismegistus mode and like make it way more complex and add way more logic. The point of symmetry is that we're making it as simple as can be. All right. So then Thoth and Tahuti, T'Chaus, can build upon that. We can build pyramids with all this simple stuff. Right? And then it's just easy to talk about it forever, right? We can build all the periodic systems and tables. You can build all of your own religions off of what I'm telling you right now. It's just the fact is you're going to have to use what I'm sharing with you, because what I'm sharing with you is the basic blueprint, the basic alchemical makeup natures of how spirits alchemize their nothingness into something. And it always takes us communicating. So this is why it's all mental, right? Your whole life is mental. Your imagination doesn't matter until you feel like connecting with it. And once you bring your feelings into your imagination, into your fire, you're creating air that allows you to communicate how you feel about your imagination. And now your imagination is constantly transforming based on how you feel about it and what you want. And that's all being expressed through air. That's all being expressed through communication. And then that air is constantly spreading out. So then that's why when you speak as a spirit, it just spreads out into the universe, literally, because it's all us speaking. We are speaking the universe into existence right now. We are speaking the universe, your universe, into exit stance. So you, as a spirit, the moment you speak, the moment you breathe out, you put that hu into huti, hu. The hu in human, you breathe out, hu. That's color. That's what human is. So it's about colorful light. That hu is color, that man is light. So as a human, you're a human. Okay? You're not a race. You're not a religion. You're not a nationality. You're not a gender. You're not a label. You're not anything. If you're any label, you're a human, because a human is a spirit communicating how colorful they are with light. Now, if you don't feel colorful, you're going to make me believe that I'm black and do your best to bring some Freemasonic checkerboard garbage into my reality so that you can flatten my space and enslave and rape my family forever, because that's how you desire to create life, by consuming the blood of my indigenous peoples. And boom, I mean, that's where then we see, one could say gold mines versus cobalt mines. And the idea of producing value versus taking value, and how indigenous spirits are literally the spirits who produce value. An indigenous spirit is a spirit who creates nature. And money, a spirit who desires to consume nature, needs to create money so that they have an excuse to. But we know for a fact, obviously, money is only backed up by nature, right? Like, money only matters because an individual somehow used their imagination to point at things that they did not own. They're pointing at these structures outside of themselves. They're like, I want that, so I own it now because I have money. And it's like, well, what's money? Oh, it's a number that I made up. The more numbers that you have of this, the more you can consume, colonize, and control how spirits around you connect. So now, instead of focusing on controlling yourself, you can control others because you have a number that allows you to project your imagination into other people's space. And then you're like, oh, well, that sounds like something that only serves you and not me. And boom, here we are, right? Like, that's literally the fact. Money only serves the white supremacists who have brought it into the Americas. Like, obviously you can't buy land. The indigenous peoples did not have any of their land bought from them. All this land has been stolen with the imagination of white supremacists who want to rape us into existence, because they believe that that's what God is. It's so lost. It's so disgusting. So you see, like, why I'm here. Like, I'm passionate about this because it's needed. This is where climate change is being caused from. Like, all this gross mental malfunctioning of people not being able to communicate intelligently. People not being able to communicate in a way that actually builds their life. So now we're all forced to build a life for people who aren't even building a life for us. Like, they're not, and not even well for themselves. That's the thing. Like, we are serving people who not only don't serve us, but they don't even serve themselves. Like, they're serving entities that are only focused on harvesting, colonizing, and controlling, and being completely unsustainable. And it's completely unnatural to us as humans. As spirits in human bodies, it is unnatural for us to be going through such extreme circumstances like this. The only reason the world is like this is because entities are so lost in white supremacist ideas and the idea that money actually gives you freedom, instead of the fact that you are literally just serving whoever told you that money matters, so that now they can make money matter, and now they can steal all of your land with this concept that they brought to you, when in reality, like, I have the land. Like, you're taking my creations, you're taking my stuff. Like, you have nothing. Like, that's why you have to use money to make me serve you, because what is money? Nothing. You have nothing. You have nothing. You have nothing. You white supremacists literally have nothing. So all you can do is make up numbers, make up a concept called money that allows you to weaponize numbers so that you can steal something from everyone else. All because you're so obsessed with being something. And it's like so twisted. Just follow Hermeticism. Have sex with yourself. Build your own garden. Like, do you as a white person hate yourself so much that you literally can't be alone in your own space? I guess so. That's literally why you're a white person. As far as the color white is all about projecting out your fire, projecting out your vision so you can be seen. So white people are obsessed with being seen. But seen for what? Huh? Seen for what? Right? White people want to be famous. White people want to be connected. That's why they're constantly projecting into indigenous people's lands and raping our families and stealing our resources, because they want us to see them. They need us to see them. This is why black then is unseen. Right? So fire is seen. You see fire. Blackness, water, you don't see water. You feel water. So white people need black people to see them. And they need black people to then be unseen, which is why they work so hard to consume, steal everything that we create from our blackness so that they can be seen for it. Right? This is what they do with me as Hermes. This is what they do with everything. As far as just right now, this idea that it's all one God, and that no matter what you're looking at, it's the expression of something greater than you. And it's like, okay, well, who taught you that? Because subconsciously, you're agreeing that they are your God, even though you're literally agreeing that they're not your God, because they're telling you that God is bigger than them too. So really the whole thing then is that no one knows. You're trying to say that no one knows why we're alive. And that's disgusting. That's not Hermetic. That's not symmetry. That's not somatic. That's not Trismegistus. That's not Hermetic. That's literally just you using Hermeticism to then tell people that life is not Hermetic. So you're using alchemy. You're using your ability to communicate to say that we are not creating life by communicating. And in reality, we're just experiencing something that was already set out. So now it's just about making you believe you're not in control of yourself, and thus you're just forced to react to what has already been set in motion, which is slavery. So now you're just forced to be a slave because you don't know how to create a better world. And this is why we're taught. This is why we're forced to be raised through school. This is why I was forced to sit through grade school, high school, and college. And it was all to prepare me for now just a pandemic where I can't even use my degree or work any kind of job like I would have anyway. I literally have to create my own thing. So it's so silly the way white supremacists and this system just gets to steal all of your energy. And they use money to do it. That's the point of money. Money is an idea that steals your freedom. And the more you let it steal your freedom, the more you create metal. So now you're actually making money metal because you're letting it steal your feelings from yourself. So this is what mentalism is. Your mind is your metal. Your mind is your money. Your mind is your ability to stabilize how you communicate. And when another spirit wants to make money off of how you communicate, they're going to tell you that you are not creative and that you need to serve them. This is what we're going through with having to speak English and being so deep in white supremacy right now. So I'm saying all that to drive in the fact, like just the point that as we're about to continue with the principles of Hermeticism, just know like all that, all that in terms of life is Hermetic. We're talking about these principles of Hermeticism to bring consciousness to the fact that as spirits, we create life because we want to connect with other spirits. It's that simple. It's that simple. Everything from there is details. And that's all subconscious details based on the individuals that you're connecting with. So white supremacist individuals can see me simply talking about and creating life. And they're like, wow, this indigenous spirit is creating an awesome life. We should make money off of that. Then they're going to come over, do their best to steal my land, steal my resources, and convince me that I'm actually not creative and that I need to create for them because they're creative. And it takes me being an intelligent spirit to know, okay, well, you would not be projecting this idea into my space if you were actually creative though. Like if you were actually happy alone and you were actually in your own simulation, you actually created your own garden, you wouldn't be coming here telling me that I'm not creative. And you especially wouldn't be so stupid as to use my creations to tell me I'm not creative. Disgusting. Again, disgusting is just like the basic English word that I have to describe this kind of behavior. So, this is why everything corresponds. Ha ha ha. This brings us to our second principle. The principles of Hermeticism. There's 7 laws, whatever. Principles, laws, right? Because think of a principle of the school, right? A principle lays down the law of the school. So, life is one big school. The universe, life, is just one big high school. You know, we're just getting high at school. It's high school. And speaking of which, so high is lie, right? So we are using light to get height. So this is why air, we're always looking up. As a body inside of air, we are the air. You as a spirit, you are air anchoring yourself into a body. You are a mind anchoring yourself into a body. So you are air anchoring yourself into earth. You are air, you are mind anchoring yourself into a body. So now you can animate that body, and now you're making earth matter. And you only made this matter through communication in the first place. So it's literally like this polarity thing of you built the structure so that it can matter, and the structure only matters because you are constantly building it, right? If you don't wake up tomorrow and transform your body in certain ways, you're not going to matter anymore. And if you stop doing certain things, then you're not going to matter anymore. Like that's literally how reality works. So it takes you building your body first so that you can exist with yourself alone. and then it takes you expressing yourself in your body so that spirits who are in similar bodies to you can connect and resonate with what you've got going on internally. The fact is, you build life through communicating, though. Again, cycle of 3. You as nothingness project an idea, connect with that idea, balance it so it can settle into a structure. And now that structure is being animated by you constantly going through that 3 chi air process. So of course everything has to correspond, because I mean it's all corresponding with you. Like, you're the one creating life. So when we think about the different levels of reality in the universe, so when we are in a body, we're looking up at air. That's all of our minds. So we are using our minds to create Earth. This is why it rains, right? The rain is a physical representation of us bringing our higher feelings into density, because our feelings are nothing, but rain is what creates life, because it's literally the physical manifestation of us making our desire to connect so dense that it becomes liquid, and this liquid becomes the universe. And then really this liquid is just like different states of light. So really the universe is air, but it feels like water. The universe is communication, but it feels like connection, because you can only communicate with what you are connected to. Of course, air can only come out of water. If you're not connected to me, then how are we going to communicate? That's, again, the point of why I had to go through this whole life of living 24 years and connecting with this language, and connecting with this world, and connecting with the history, and connecting with all these lights in a similar enough way to you that now we can build upon that. So this is just naturally what we do as spirits. This is our desire to connect and communicate on ideas that express our nothingness. Or else, what's the point? You know, like literally, what's the point? What's the point in being alive if you're not connecting and communicating with other spirits about ideas that you resonate with? I can't see a point. That's why I get called out of my space. You see why I'm Chase Calloway. Haha, Chase Calloway. Right? I do not want to be here unless I am called to specifically perform a mission. I'm way too happy alone. And I have my whole own system of being super happy alone. I have my own simulations. Like, bro, of course I'm popping. Like, what? I'm the magic man. Like, I'm the one who builds reality. Okay? So, and again, like the fact, like I'm here talking about I'm the one who builds reality so that I can show you how you build reality. Because then it takes, again, a Christian Judeo colonizer to see me building reality and be like, okay, cool. So let's steal what he's doing so that we can make everyone else believe that they're not building reality, so that they'll build our reality. And now it takes me as Chase, as Symmetry, as Trip C, as Hermes to come in and go through the same hell that is being created from this manipulation to now be able to communicate ourselves out of the manipulation. You feel me? You feel me? So this is why everything has to correspond, because the fact is the universe is air. The universe looks like air. It feels like water, and is then powered by all of our imaginations. But like more so our circumstances. And really that's where, for a better word, I would say our souls. Because your soul is individual to you. Your soul as a spirit is how you connect with your own ego. So your soul is an expression of your universe. The universe itself is a collection of all the souls who want to connect with another soul. So this is why everything in the universe is connected. Because the moment you as a spirit want to connect with something outside of yourself, you have to get connected to one big structure. And then once you get connected to that big structure, that is the whole universe that allows us to build all these tiny little simulations. And now we are constantly like making Earth inside of this water, inside of this structure, because we felt like connecting our own water structure, our own soul, with spirits outside of ourselves, right? That's why V is letter 22 in the alphabet. 2 plus 2, 4. You and I, we are creating a vibe right now that is building a body based on my individual vibration connecting with your individual vibration. My 2 is being added to your 2, and now we are constructing a box, which is a very dense vibe that we can get lost in thinking that we're either victims or thinking that we are victors, thinking that we are actually victorious and in control, or we can get so lost in the box that we're building together, we think we're not in control of our circumstances because we're connecting with people who are in control of our circumstances. Right? So if someone's telling you that you need money so that you can live in a land that they stole from people who would not have required you to need money, then the more you serve that person, you're only going to create their circumstances while feeling depressed and anxious and disconnected from yourself because you're not in control of your own circumstances. They're using your ability to be in control of your circumstances to control theirs, which is impossible. So you're just always going to be in that reaction of like not having enough money, not having enough of this concept that you were taught that you needed by people who are colonizing and raping my family, my indigenous systems throughout all of North, South, and Central America, because they need your attention that badly. They need your energy that badly, that they're willing to go through any extent to lie and manipulate to make that happen. Again, this is why I need more words than disgusting. Way more. Like, they need to be like multiple syllabus words that I like feel like gross when I'm saying, and then I like bring fire into them so I can like project that out. Like, you're something like that. You know, like disgusting is the closest word to that comedy. So everything corresponds because you have to correspond with yourself. When you know that life is a reflection of you and it's elemental, then this is where, you know, we get that as above, so below type deal. It's you as a spirit knowing that if you are anchored and experiencing yourself inside of a body, then it's because you are using elements to stabilize your space. It's as simple as that. If you as a spirit find yourself aware in a body, it is because you are using elements to stabilize your space. And then these elements naturally become limited in numbers. So then that's why, although you are in one body, your body is made up of how many trillions of cells, right? Like, you know, I said trillions, right? I mean, one could say, I don't know, millions, billions, trillions, it's really high. But for real though, like how many trillions of cells? You know, so it is about that you as a spirit, when you are inevitably always going to be an individual. You can't not be an individual. It's just that as you become more aware as an individual, more and more individuals will start to support you. And that literally is what looks like your body. So when you have a body like supporting your ability to communicate, that in and of itself is a bunch of spirits creating their own little universe so that you can operate inside of the universe. So it's always about this. Us building structures because we desire to communicate. And thus all these structures are going to correspond. So your body is always corresponding with your mind. Right? Your mind is the higher form of you that is communicating its air into this practical body. And your mind is being created by you combining your imagination and your feelings. Right? Like, you have nothing to communicate if you don't have an imagination and you don't have a kind of feeling about that imagination. So you literally, as a spirit, you have to connect with yourself. You have to, if you're going to communicate anything, because you have to have your own fire and water. You have to have your own imagination, your own idea, your own intention, and then you have to have some kind of feeling about that. And it takes you combining those that allows you to animate and communicate and build the air, which then results in the structures that would naturally come from you communicating such. So look at your organs, right? Anything in a body, look at a tree. This is just what everything is. And why if you go and cut down a tree, the tree will fall, because it's corresponding with your actions, is corresponding with what you're doing in physical reality, because that's the point of all of us being here. We're all connected and corresponding to each other so that we can learn more about ourselves than we could possibly learn if we were alone. If we were alone in our own spaces, then how would we really learn about ourselves? Honestly. Like, that's also being lost in yourself then, just in your own imagination. You feel like the only thing that matters is you. So you have no empathy. This is what white people, white supremacists in general, this is their mentality, right? Where they're lost in their own imagination. So now they feel like only their imagination matters, which is why they feel empowered to use love to spread genocide and build systems off of the brutal rape of indigenous peoples for centuries, and do it all in the name of God, because they literally just believe so much that it's only their imagination that matters, and you're a projection of their imagination, right? So white supremacists will use my Hermetic principles to tell me that I'm an extension of their God that they've never met. So no matter how many times I separate my mind from my body, interact with my family, hang out in my own space, do all my own things, I'm going to be in hell the more I connect with someone who cannot see me past their own projection. And then it takes me seeing, well, what's your projection? Wow, that's nasty, that's gross. And now I learn more about myself, because I'm nowhere near that energy. I can't imagine being lost like this. I can't. But now I can, because it's a part of my memories. And now I've learned. And now I can communicate about it more consciously. And I've learned more about what I like. I've learned how to be more harmonious and hermetic inside of my own heart, inside of my own home, so I can turn it into my own heaven. No coincidences here with symmetry. No coincidences. Because this is why I love life. I do love this. I love this so much. I love being angry. I love being passionate. I love being upset. I love all of my emotions. I love my emotions so much. Like, there's not one emotion in myself that I hate. Bro, no. Impossible. It's impossible. My emotions are what make me. My emotions are what make my body matter. I would not be able to build pyramids or structures if I didn't have emotions. So, no. I'm not going to let this white supremacist, toxically masculine society teach me that I should actually get out of my emotions, when literally that's an emotion that they're projecting into me, that I should just be a slave to their thought. And their thought is my thought. It's literally, their thought is a colonized, uglier, more limited version of what I naturally produce.